What's up, guys? Back again with another UFC Fight Picks video on the UFC 225 card, Whittaker versus Romero 2. Let's go ahead and get started here with these early Fight Pass prelims. So first fight of the night, we got Santiago versus Dan Ige. So in this matchup, I like Santiago. First of all, he is the underdog. Let me verify that real quick. Yeah, see, plus 118. I think he was a bigger underdog before. Not like a lot bigger, but he was probably like plus 140, 150 or something like that. I think so anyway. But anyways, he was the underdog, or he's been the underdog the whole time. And I see some value in picking him here as a play. His losses in the UFC are to Burnell, who's a good grappler, very strong. He lost that fight by decision. And he also lost to Zabit, who's obviously a very, very good prospect, and that guy's already made a big name for himself. So this guy has some losses to some good guys, and his opponent Dan Ige, I think this guy's more of a grappler. Let's just go ahead and check out his page here real quick. He is coming off a loss to Julio Arce, another guy that actually looks pretty good in that weight class though. Very good boxer, good striker. His win, he hasn't won in the UFC yet either, just like Santiago. Both these guys got their wins in the Tuesday night Contender Series show. This guy won in the third round by submission. Brown belt and BJJ and judo. So like I said, this guy's primarily kind of a grappler, whereas Santiago is a little bit more well-rounded. He's a good striker, has good power, also has some submission skills and wrestling skills also. So I think this is kind of like an even matchup. So since it's an even matchup, I'm going to take the underdog in Mike Santiago. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Santiago to win this fight by decision. Alright guys, moving on to the next fight. We got Clay Guida versus Charles Oliveira. Kind of a close fight. Oliveira is the favorite. He is coming in, I think, short notice, negative 145. So Clay Guida's actually looked pretty good recently. He's been winning his fights. I think Oliveira's coming off a knockout loss to Paul Felder. But let's go ahead and just check out their pages. So Guida, this guy's getting a little bit older now, 36 years old. Was a featherweight, now he's moved up. So this guy, his last loss was to Ortega, who's a beast. And then after that, he beat Eric Koch in a fight. I thought Eric Koch would be able to win that fight. And he actually just, really smashed Eric Koch on the ground, took him down, smashed him. And against Joe Lozon, he just knocked him out in the first round. I didn't see that happening. I saw Guida winning that fight, but I didn't see him knocking him out. So he got two solid wins there. And Oliveira, his last fight, he did get knocked out by Paul Felder. Before that, he actually beat Will Brooks in the first round by submission. So this guy usually, it looks like when he loses, he's getting finished, and when he wins, he's finishing. So this guy's a finisher, and Guida could hurt this guy possibly and finish him early, because Oliveira seems like sometimes when you put the pressure on him or you hurt him, he kind of just quits in the fight. So he could take him out of there if you survive his submission game, which a lot of people don't. So Guida actually is prone to getting caught with submissions. So this is why I gotta pick Charles Oliveira as my official pick. But if you guys play DraftKings, I actually would consider also playing Clay Guida, even though I do think Oliveira here is going to get the win. So my official pick here, guys, is going to be Oliveira to win this fight, probably by second round submission. But don't count Clay Guida out. It is a close fight. All right, moving on to the next fight. We got Benavidez versus Sergio Pettis. So Benavidez has been off for a while. I think he's only lost to Mighty Mouse and Dominic Cruz. So, this guy barely ever loses, even though I do think that Cejudo beat him in the last fight. And Sergio Pettis is also, he's coming off a loss to Cejudo, who was able to use that wrestling to be able to beat up Pettis. But Pettis is, kind of an up-and-comer here in the flyweight division. He's a little bit, longer and stronger than other flyweights since he came down from 135. I actually think Pettis here could get the fight, could win this fight. I mean, he is a plus 210 underdog. So I'm going to give him a shot in this fight. I think, his ground game should be more improved, especially since he just got, kind of wrestled by Cejudo. I think Benavidez also likes to strike a little bit more. I don't think he really likes to wrestle that much. So this should be more of a stand-up fight, and I think Pettis here will have a shot to win this fight on the feet, you know, with his striking. So I'm going to go ahead and take Pettis here as another underdog, as a sleeper pick, and have Pettis winning by decision. Moving on to the featured fight on the Fight Pass prelims, we got Rashad Evans versus Anthony Smith. So yeah, I'm not gonna pick Rashad Evans, guys. This guy's, you know, he's been letting me down the last couple times I actually picked him. I think the last time I picked him was against Daniel Kelly, and I'm not even sure if I picked him against the Sam Alvey fight. But either way, Rashad Evans, you know, this guy's pretty much done. This fight is at 205, so he's gonna have a little bit more energy. But Anthony Smith, another guy who was at 185, now he's at 205 for this fight. This guy's a finisher. A lot of his wins are by finish. He also does get finished sometimes, but I think Anthony Smith is going to be the by far the better striker. He's also not bad on the ground, but his takedown defense does look a little crappy here. So if Rashad Evans is able to utilize that wrestling, you never know. He could just win this fight by a boring, lame praise, split decision, or just by decision. But I mean, even then, I just don't have much faith here in Rashad Evans. So I'm going to go ahead and take the favorite, Anthony Smith, and he's at -310. So I have Smith winning this fight by second round knockout. All right, now for the FS1 prelims, we got Rashad Coulter versus Chris De La Rocha. So both these guys ain't really great fighters. We got Coulter as an almost 2-to-1 favorite against Chris De La Rocha. First of all, Rashad Coulter is kind of like a boxer. You know, he has really good boxing, or better than most, I would say, than other heavyweights here. His ground game, I mean, his takedown defense, I guess, is good here on paper. I'm not sure how good it is, but I would say his ground game is probably not as good as Chris De La Rocha's. I know De La Rocha, you know, is good with his jiu-jitsu. So, you know, if Rashad Coulter, you know, goes to the ground, we could have Rocha here possibly tapping him out or just beating him up on the ground. But I do think Coulter here will take out Chris De La Rocha early. Coulter has shown that he's pretty durable. So, you know, if it's a stand-up fight all day, Coulter should be able to get the knockout. So I'm going to take Rashad Coulter by, I'm going to say, second round knockout. Moving on, we got Ricardo Lamas versus Rashad Bektic. I'm going to take Rashad Bektic in this one, guys. He is the favorite, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, -225. This guy's a beast. He's only lost to Darren Elkins, and he was actually smashing Darren Elkins in that fight till he got caught with that head kick. So yeah, Bektic's a beast. Ricardo Lamas' chin is very suspect. Seems like this guy gets slept a lot. So Bektic has power. His striking is also not bad at all. He does also like to wrestle. And Ricardo Lamas' takedown defense is actually pretty bad here on paper. So I mean, we could see Bektic mixing it up here, but I do think he should have the advantage on the feet with his power, and he could also mix in that wrestling, even though Ricardo Lamas is a really good wrestler. So, I mean, it's a tough test for Rashad Bektic, but I think that Lamas' chin, you know, is pretty suspect. So I could see Bektic catching him. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Bektic to win this fight by, I'm going to say, second round knockout. All right, guys, moving on along. We got Claudia versus Carla Esparza. So a very easy fight to pick. I'm going to pick Gadelha here in this matchup. She is the biggest favorite here on the card, -520. First of all, her takedown defense should be good enough to stuff Carla Esparza's takedowns, and all Carla Esparza is good at is using, you know, her takedown game. We already saw that fight against Jan Jacek. When she wasn't able to get takedowns, she got just absolutely destroyed on the feet. If all Gadelha really has to do is just stop the takedowns and just smash her on the feet, because Gadelha here is for sure the better striker. Also has some good submission skills if it does go to the ground, but I don't really think it's going to go to the ground at all. I think it's going to be a stand-up fight, and yeah, Gadelha's going to stop those takedowns and just smash Esparza on the feet. So I'm picking Gadelha, and more than likely she wins by decision. Alright, guys, moving on to the featured fight of the FS1 prelims. We got Alistair Overeem versus Curtis Blades. We got Overeem as the underdog, +145. I really like Overeem, one of my favorite fighters. So I am going to pick him here in this matchup. First of all, most of his fights, you know, most of the time he fights, he is getting a finish, or he's getting finished himself. So more than likely this fight is not going to go to decision. It could, but more than likely it's not. I think Overeem here. First of all, Curtis Blades, he's looked pretty durable, and he's only lost to Ngannou. So, I mean, maybe Overeem could hurt him to the body and just, TKO him with a body shot. Then again, he could also knock him out, with a headshot. But Curtis Blades looks pretty durable. Overeem, as everybody knows, this guy's chin is pretty bad nowadays. Curtis Blades, he does have a lot of wins by knockout, but he's not the best striker. He's still kind of learning the striking, but he has really good wrestling. If he's able to get a takedown on Overeem and just, stay on top of him and land some ground and pound, more than likely, we could see Curtis Blades here end up with a knockout. We've seen how Stipe knocked out Overeem on the ground very quickly in that fight. But I'm pretty sure Overeem is going to be expecting the takedowns from Curtis Blades, and Overeem's takedown defense is actually not that bad. And he does have a really good guillotine that he could use. If Curtis Blades does go for those takedowns and maybe catch Curtis Blades coming in with that guillotine. But obviously in the stand-up, guys, Overeem's way better here in the stand-up. Lately, I mean, if you've been watching his fights, this guy's very good at, at not getting hit. Look at his striking defense at 62%. That's very good. And he also absorbs a little bit of strikes per minute, just under 2 strikes per minute. So, I mean, Overeem here has been improving his defense because, like I said, his chin, isn't that great. I mean, of course he did get knocked out by Ngannou, but I don't know what he was doing in that fight. He like overextended himself way too much, and Ngannou was able to catch him. I thought that was just a big mistake in Overeem's part. If he could have just stayed on the outside and picked them apart, he would have won that fight. But I mean, against Verdum, he did well in that fight. A lot of people did think he lost that fight, but I thought he did well. The numbers don't really show, but I thought he did well. Obviously, he did knock out Mark Hunt. So, I mean, if Overeem, stays on his bike, uses that footwork, just picks you apart at range, he's going to win this fight. So I'm going to go to take Overeem, guys. Like I said, I am a big fan of the Overeem, or the Reem, I mean. But I do actually think he's going to be able to win this fight. Curtis Blades a beast, but I think Overeem will avoid the takedowns, pick him apart, and eventually get a knockout. So I'm going to go ahead and say Overeem, second round knockout. Alright, guys, now we're on to the main card. We got CM Punk versus Mike Jackson. So, both these guys have not won a fight yet in their MMA career. Both of them are 0-1. And I mean, I know Mike Jackson has some kickboxing experience and boxing experience. I think he's undefeated in both of those. But the last time I picked him against Mickey Gall, Mickey Gall just absolutely, starched this guy. So yeah, I'm not gonna pick Mike Jackson. So I'm gonna have to go with CM Punk on this one, guys. I think CM Punk, he is obviously an underdog here. I mean, he is a WWE guy, but I think CM Punk here could surprise us, and for sure this fight is going to be a lot better than the Mickey Gall fight. This guy, Mike Jackson, is a stand-up fighter, so it should be a good fight while it lasts. It's going to be, striking battle, could be a fun fight. So I'm going to go and just pick CM Punk as just the underdog play. Yeah, we haven't really seen much of him, so there's not really much else to say. But Mike Jackson isn't the greatest fighter, so I'm just going to go ahead and take the underdog and CM Punk. And say CM Punk wins probably by decision, or you never know, he might get a knockout early if he clips Mike Jackson or something like that. But I'm just going to say Punk by decision. Alright, guys, next fight, Arlovski versus Tuivasa. So, very easy fight for me to pick. First of all, I've been picking against Arlovski, and this guy keeps beating my guys. First of all, I picked Albini to knock him out, and he survived. And then against Stefan Struve, a big letdown, man. This guy also survived. So, yeah, third time's the charm. Tai Tuivasa all wins by knockout. And, yeah, he's going to get the knockout here, guys. This guy's pretty much a younger version of Mark Hunt. We don't know how good his ground game is. Probably not that great, but his stand-up game is decent. Very good striking. And all wins by knockout. So, yeah, this guy's a heavy hitter. And I think he's going to get that first round KO win against Andrei Arlovski. We already know how bad Arlovski's chin is. Yeah. So I think Tai catches him early, and that's going to be it. So hopefully this time, you know, I get a win here against Arlovski because, fuck, Stefan Struve and Albini just didn't come through in those fights. And that was pretty surprising. So let's go Tai Tuivasa, first round knockout. Alright guys, next fight, Holly Holm versus Megan Anderson. So I'm going to take Holly Holm in this matchup. First of all, I mean, she's just a very solid, safe pick. She is the favorite at -210. She should just be able to outpoint Megan Anderson on the feet all day. Just use her boxing, kickboxing. I don't see a lot of output in this fight. I just see Holly Holm just kind of picking her apart, landing good shots. From what I hear about Megan Anderson, I mean, first of all, I mean, I don't think she's that great. She is a pretty big fighter though. She's a big featherweight, very strong. She's a bigger fighter, more reach. So she's gonna be the stronger fighter. But a lot of people are saying that in her last fight or in that Invicta fight against Charmaine Tweet, that she actually got hurt in that fight, and that girl's not even that great. So, I mean, imagine Holly Holm here, a really good, former boxer, good kickboxing also. Imagine what she's gonna do to Megan Anderson. So I know Holly Holm isn't known for that power. So I mean, I don't know if she's gonna knock out Megan Anderson. I don't really see that happening, but Holly Holm's gonna be just too precise, too accurate, and should be too hard to hit for Megan Anderson. So yeah, I'm going to take Holly Holm. I know Holly Holm's actually been losing a lot of fights, but yeah, I think she wins this fight by decision. Alright guys, so now we're on to the co-main event. Rafael dos Anjos versus Colby Covington. So Covington's a beast, as far as his skill set. He's a really good grappler, good wrestling. His stand-up is, improving, but it's not that great. But dos Anjos, I mean, this guy's just a fucking beast. I mean, his striking is a lot better than Colby Covington's. He has excellent boxing, excellent multi. I mean, he's been working on his boxing lately a lot with Perillo. I think that's his name, Jason Perillo. So I mean, he had that multi game before, but now with now improving his boxing, he's become a lot better. Obviously, he has really good wrestling himself. Very good ground game also. But man, dos Anjos is just a beast, man. This guy, he's good at mixing everything up. Very high output. He's extremely durable. Very good gas tank. He's aggressive. And, he's going to push the pace against Colby Covington. So I really like dos Anjos here in this matchup. I think Covington will struggle on the feet, especially on the feet against dos Anjos. I think Covington has really great takedowns, and he will probably get a takedown or two, but eventually either he's going to gas or dos Anjos is going to stop the takedowns, and dos Anjos is going to just destroy him on the feet. So I see dos Anjos here getting the knockout, probably getting like a late finish. I'm going to say 4th round knockout for Rafael dos Anjos. Alright guys, so now we're on to the main event. We got Whittaker against Yoel Romero. And I'm going to go ahead and take Robert Whittaker in this matchup. Same as I did the last time they fought. I'm pretty sure I picked Whittaker. Yeah, Whittaker just has elite takedown defense. In his last fight, first of all, he already beat Romero. And that was with an injured knee. So, and he was able to still stop the takedowns and still win the fight. So now imagine Whittaker's, first of all, he's not injured no more. So that's going to help him. He does have a long layoff, so that kind of sucks. But now that he's not injured, he should look a lot better. He should throw a lot more hands, and he should let his hands go a lot earlier in the fight. So yeah, I think Whittaker here's gonna get it done. He's gonna stop the takedowns. Romero did look good in his last fight where he caught Rockhold, but I mean, this guy could knock you out at any moment, but I don't really see it happening this time. Whittaker has shown he has a pretty decent chin, so I'll take Robert Whittaker here, guys, to get the knockout this time. I think he's going to get the finish. I'll say 4th round knockout, Robert Whittaker. Alright guys, so that does it for me here on my UFC fight picks for the 225 card. Let me give you guys my top 3 most confident picks. I got to put Tai Tuivasa at number 1, followed by Claudia Gadelha. And who else do I got here? I really like Whittaker, but I'm gonna go ahead and say Anthony Smith. So Tuivasa, Gadelha, and Anthony Smith. I think if you put them in a parlay, I don't think you can go wrong there. I think all of them should be able to win their fights. And my favorite underdog here on the card is Overeem, because I think he's gonna be able to get the win, and he's plus 145. and I mean, he's just a beast. Obviously, that chin is a problem, but Curtis Blades, I don't think he's seen someone with really good stand up like Overeem before. I know he fought Mark Hunt, but that's, Mark Hunt's a different style. So I'm picking Overeem here, and he is my favorite underdog play here in this fight card. All right, guys. So that does it for me here for my picks. Let me know who you guys got in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about my picks. Let's see if I had to pick someone that might let me down, it would have to be Oliveira could let me down. Who else? I don't know. I think that's about it. I mean, I think Oliveira here could be a big letdown, but I do think he gets the win. But yeah, guys. Anyways, that does it for me. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy the fights. And catch you guys on the next video.